Our engineering bridge program is located at Camosun College, which is in Victoria, BC. We're a much smaller college compared to SAIT. We have about 12,000 learners that are spread over 2 campuses. So we have an interurban campus, which is where our technology and engineering bridge programs are located. Our interurban campus is a bit more of a rural campus. It's not close to the Victoria downtown core. Not that it's too far away, given that Victoria is not that big a city. But it is a more rural location, and what that means is that it is spread out. We've got more land available and a few more buildings and room to grow on that campus as well. In fact, one of the things that's recently happened is we put in a brand new health sciences building at the interurban campus. Now, our Lansdowne campus is located more in the heart of Victoria, and so more of an urban setting. And we still have some arts and science, and a few of the health science programs are still running out at that campus as well. The pictures that you see here are from the interurban campus. Now, what is the Camosun Engineering Bridge Program? Basically, what the Camosun Engineering Bridge Program is a 2 academic term program that allows you to transfer into 3rd year at university. Now, we have arrangements with the University of Victoria and the University of British Columbia, and UBC has 2 campuses. So there's a Vancouver campus and an Okanagan campus. So depending on which program, some programs only go to UVic and some programs only go to UBC, and then some go to both. Now, of course, our engineering bridge program is designed to fill in the gaps from what you have with the technology program, and it's recognized across Canada as an excellent transition option in order to pursue an engineering degree. In fact, it's one of only 2 major routes to continue on from a technology program to get an engineering degree. Lakehead University has their own kind of bridge program, and it operates in the summer before the start of their 3rd year. So that's a university-based program. We are the only college-based program in Canada like this. There is also BCIT, which is a bit of a separate institution. They run a program that is a 2-year technology program, and then they have an additional 2 years to complete a degree program, but they don't normally allow transfer students from other institutions. So they're kind of their own private little entity. But other than that, there aren't too many options to take a technology diploma and roll that directly into a full engineering degree. Now, the objective of the bridge program is to fill in any gaps that you might have in your technology program. And by gaps, what we mean is we're recognizing that there is a significant difference between how a technology program operates as opposed to an engineering degree program. Technology programs are typically hands-on applied programs. They give you lots of practical skills, using software, using survey equipment, that kind of stuff, using machines and in the machine shop, and so on. Whereas a university program, they tend to focus more on theoretical knowledge and less on the practical hands-on skills. So what that means is, while there are some programs in your technology program that there are some courses in your technology program that are very similar to what you'll find at university, they're taught differently. So the university courses tend to be taught at a much higher level, often with a lot of calculus as a requirement, whereas the technology programs, while again focusing on the same core materials, are going to be, here's how you do it, and let's get through it as quickly as we can using tools that we have available, computer software, and so on. So in order to take your technology diploma and go that next step to apply to university, what we have to do is increase your theoretical understanding so that you have the same theoretical background as students that have already completed 2 years of university. And sometimes there are a few additional missing courses that we focus on as well. So for example, every engineering program in Canada has to have a breadth requirement that includes an understanding of all branches of engineering. So it doesn't matter what branch of engineering you're studying, you still have to understand a little bit out of each. So a civil engineer still has to do a little bit of electronics, and an electrical engineer still has to do a little bit of geology and all of that kind of stuff. So we tend to find some additional courses in our bridge program are designed to meet that requirement. And it varies a little bit by discipline and based on the institution that you end up going to. Now, typically our programs focus on mathematics and physics, but we do, again, have a few other courses: computer programming, geology, and so on. But mathematics is a big part of it. And then, of course, we have some topics that are related to a specific field of engineering, often ones that you've already had before, say like mechanics or thermodynamics, but are taught at a higher level, making use of some of that more in-depth calculus and advanced mathematics that you get in the bridge program. Now, once you complete the bridge program, you're eligible to enter into the third year of either UBC or UVic. And this transfer mechanism is what we call a block transfer mechanism. So instead of a course-by-course transfer credit, which you can get at many other institutions, what the universities do is they consider that your technology diploma plus the bridge program is equivalent to their first 2 years of university. It's not directly equivalent. You're not going to see that course-by-course equivalency. And in some cases, there are some differences. What that means is that when they go through their accreditation process, they have to prove that a student that starts in year 1 at their institution and goes straight through at university meets a certain minimum requirement, but also a student that comes through this route through the bridge program also meets that minimum requirement. It doesn't have to be exactly the same set of courses and pathways, but there is a certain minimum requirement that needs to be met. Now, we find that students, of course, are very interested in this program. Like I say, this is the only college-based institution in Canada that offers an opportunity to take your technology diploma and go straight into third year of university. So students really like this program because it does give them an opportunity to expand their knowledge of their chosen career, and that gives them an opportunity to get greater responsibility at work. And with that typically comes higher salary. Also, once you've finished an engineering degree, you have the opportunity to pursue a professional engineer designation as well. That requires working under the guidance of a professional engineer within your field for a minimum of 4 years before you are eligible to write the professional practice exam and become a fully qualified professional engineer. Once you're a fully qualified professional engineer, then of course you can take on more responsibility, and typically the salary will go up yet again. So again, students really like that opportunity to be able to expand their career. Now, the universities also like this program because what it does for them is allows them to better utilize the capacity that they have within their institutions. They'll take in a certain number of students every year in the first year of their program, but not all of those students finish. So by the time they get to third year, they've lost a significant number of those students, but they still have capacity in their program for more students. So what this bridge program does is it provides an alternate route for students to be able to join midway through their program and be able to make use of that capacity that they already have in their program. Now, colleges such as SAIT are very interested in this program as well, because the whole goal of the college is to support the students in their eventual career goals. And that's not just complete a program and we'll get you a job and that's it. We want to make sure that whatever student comes in has an opportunity to extend their career in a direction of their choosing and be able to follow on with additional training from wherever that might be. Now, the last thing on this list here is the interest from industry. And this one is actually quite key. There are a couple of main reasons why industry is very supportive of this program. One, it gives them an opportunity to retrain their own employees. So if you've finished a technology program and you go out and you're working for a company as a technologist, if that company sees that you are doing great in your position and they see the potential for you to move up in the organization, they can recommend that you come through our program and continue on to get an engineering degree. And that way they can market you out at a higher rate and make use of the potential that they see in you. But another key factor that industry really likes is that they recognize that students that go through a technology program have those practical hands-on skills. I hear this from employers time and time again. If they're looking to hire a brand new engineering grad And they've got two candidates that they're considering. One that went straight through university, and then one that went through a technology program first, and then bridged, and then continued on to complete their engineering degree. They're going to look at the person with a technology background every time. And the reason is because of those practical hands-on skills. Because the universities focus on the theoretical skills, the graduates that come out of that program, they understand the material, they know what they're talking about, but they don't necessarily know how to do it. And this particularly comes to use of software and machines and equipment and so on, where someone who's gone through the technology route does have those practical hands-on skills, and employers recognize that they can get these individuals to be productive employees much quicker with less on-the-job training. So industry very much likes this, and it gives students that have gone through this route a bit of a leg up when they're applying for jobs. Now, in terms of the bridge programs that we have, I mentioned we have UBC and UVic. UBC is where our civil engineering students go. Currently, there isn't a route for civil engineering to UVic. UVic does have a civil engineering program, and we are in discussions with them about being able to start a bridge program to UVic. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, those kind of discussions have stalled a little bit. So there's no real word on when we might be able to get a bridge program for civil to UVic. But at the moment, we do have opportunities at UBC. Mechanical engineering, we have opportunities at both UBC and UVic, and electrical and computer engineering is just at UVic. Now with UBC, I mentioned that they do have two campuses. So there's the Vancouver campus and an Okanagan campus. And there are civil engineering and mechanical engineering at both of those campuses. So if you apply to the UBC bridge program, what we ask you to do is to identify your preferred campus, whether that's the Vancouver campus or the Okanagan campus. And when you identify that, it doesn't necessarily mean that's where you end up. What we do is we take a look at all of the applicants that apply to the program, and we rank them. And working with the universities are the ones that have the final say on who they accept into the program. But working with the universities, we go through and offer seats. And the students that are highest on the ranking list will get offered their first choice. Students that are lower on the ranking list may get offered a seat at their second choice. And sometimes there is an opportunity to switch. It doesn't happen all that often. We might end up with one or two additional seats that open up over the course of the year, but that's kind of how it works. But having said that, one of the things you want to look at if you're considering UBC is to take a look at the UBC calendar, both the Vancouver and the Okanagan calendar, and take a look at the elective courses that they offer. Because when you get to third and fourth year engineering, the elective courses are a major part of your program. There are a couple of key courses that you have to take, but most of the courses you end up taking are electives. And the list of elective courses are different at each institution. So don't just think, oh, I want to go to the Vancouver campus, or, oh, I want to go to the Okanagan. Actually research it and take a look and see which campus has the best list of optional courses that kind of fit with your career goal. And like I say, they do vary quite a bit, and they vary based on the expertise of the faculty that have at each institution, which is different. Now, in terms of UBC, it is a September to April program. So you start at Camosun in September, you run through 2 semesters, and you finish in April. You'll get the summer off, and then you will start at UBC the following September. UVic, the timing is a little bit different. It starts in January. So you have 1 semester in January. You have the summer off. Then you come back to Camosun to finish a second semester, and then you transfer over to UVic the following January. The reason why UVic is kind of out of phase from UBC is because UVic is a mandatory co-op program. So we are tying into when their third year starts, which is in January, fitting in with their co-op streams. And the way that our program is structured, where you get that summer off in between the 2 academic terms, also gives you an opportunity to take a co-op work term, which you can then transfer over to UVic. If you already have a co-op work term that you may have completed as part of your technology program, that can also transfer over to UVic. Because it is a mandatory co-op program, you have a certain minimum number of co-op work terms that you have to complete. And if you don't have one co-op work term to transfer, either that you've already completed as part of your technology program or that you take as while you're doing the bridge program, then it delays how long it takes before you can complete the program, because you've got to make up an extra work term along the way. Now, in order to get into our bridge program, we have a couple of requirements. First of all is you need to complete an accredited technology program. And of course, the programs at SAIT are all accredited. And by accredited, we're talking about the Technology Accreditation Council, or TAC. That's the new accreditation body for colleges. We also need a GPA of at least 5. This is on a 9-point scale. If you're looking at, say, a 4-point scale, which I understand SAIT operates under, what we would do is we would take the GPA from any course, we would multiply that by 9 and then divide that by 4 to convert that to a 9-point scale. And we would use the overall GPA that you get in your technology program in order to rank everybody. And this is where we come up with that ranking to determine whether or not you're going to be offered a seat to your first choice or second choice if you're going to UBC. Also, that no courses can be less than a C grade. It is certainly possible at some institutions to get a D grade and still graduate from the program. A D grade is still considered a pass. However, a D is not considered appropriate for a prerequisite. So therefore, you have to have at least a C in every course, which means if you do have a D grade somewhere in your program, you're going to need to go back and retake that course in order to get that up to a C. Now, it is possible to upgrade your marks in order to increase your GPA to be a little bit higher up on the ranking list. And the key part is that you need to do that before you actually graduate. So when we go through our ranking process, we're going to look at that GPA, the overall GPA from all of the courses that you took while you were doing that 2-year technology program. Once that credential has been awarded, if you go back and take additional courses, that's not going to affect your overall GPA. It could be used to eliminate a D that you might have, but it's not going to affect your overall GPA. Now, I talked about that ranking list in terms of offering seats to UBC, either to Vancouver or Okanagan, but it's also used to offer seats in the program itself. In some years, we have more people applying to the program than we have seats available. This varies by discipline, and it also varies depending upon the economy. Last year, for example, we had about a dozen more students in civil than we actually had space in the program for. Whereas mechanical, for example, we actually didn't completely fill the program, so there were a couple of seats left available. So again, it does depend upon the discipline. I say it also depends upon the economy. What we typically find is that when the economy is doing fairly well, students can graduate from their technology program and go straight out into industry and do a decent paying job. And a lot of students will go straight into do that, particularly if they've accumulated some student debt, and they're not going to necessarily think about upgrading their education at that point. Whereas if the economy is not doing very well and there are less jobs out there, people are having difficulty finding jobs when they graduate, they think, well, I may as well continue on and go and get an engineering degree. So we end up getting more people applying to the program. And this also happens when people have been working for a couple of years and the economy starts to go down a little bit. So people get laid off from their work. And that's when people decide that let's go back and upgrade their education. We do get people that come into the bridge program that have been out working for a couple of years as well. If you've been out working for 5 years or more, what we find is that your math can typically get stale. When you start the bridge program, it starts with calculus right from the get-go. So if it has been a while since you've taken a math course, we do recommend that you take a basic, first year calculus course just to get back into thinking about calculus again. That way you're not left behind when you start the program. Now, in terms of the number of applicants, so these are last year numbers. We had 32 in civil engineering bridge. Again, that's only to UBC. For mechanical engineering, we've got a few more seats available because that goes again to UBC and UVic. So 34 to UBC and 30 to UVic. And then we also have 40 seats in electrical and computer to UVic as well. Now, the application process is through a website, so applybc.ca. As part of that application process, we're looking to get an official transcript for every post-secondary institution you have attended, regardless of whether you completed the program. We don't care so much at Camosun, but the universities do care that they have a complete record of everything that you've done. And of course, we need a copy of your high school transcript to go along with that as well. Now, the application dates, again, they vary depending on whether it's the UBC bridge or the UVic bridge, again, based on the different entry points or the different times at which they start. So the UBC bridge programs, the applications open up mid-September, so they're already open for next year. But you've got until March 1st to actually get your application in. And what we do is we take all of the applications that come in by March 1st, and they go through that ranking process. Now, I should mention here as well, we did another session like this yesterday, and one of the questions came up is, well, what if I've got a pass-fail type grade on my transcript? And that's something that has come out as a result of this pandemic, is that the last semester, as things kind of went into lockdown in March, a number of institutions, NAIT and SAIT were both in this category, where they said, we're not going to give letter grades, you know, A, B's and C's and so on. We're going to just change the courses to you either passed it or you didn't. And that makes it a little bit more challenging now trying to figure out the ranking. And that is something that we're still trying to wrestle with. I haven't got a complete answer yet as to how we're going to deal with that. But what I can tell you is that if you've got a course that just says you passed, that we will consider that course as acceptable, right? So from our view, that we're going to consider that to be a C or better, and we will include you as part of our ranking for that year. For UVic Bridge program, applications open up in mid-January, and the application deadline is June 1st. Now, to get into third year of university, you need to successfully complete all of the courses in the Bridge program. Now, complete means a grade of C or better. And once you complete all of the courses in the Bridge program, you're also awarded an advanced diploma as well. Now, it is also possible to get transfer credit for up to 2 courses in the Bridge program. And both UVic and UBC do allow you to repeat a course if you do happen to fail it, or get less than a C grade. But if you repeat that course the second time around, you have to get a C+ or better. You basically, once you start the Bridge program, you've got 2 years to complete it. Now, we do have a website set up, so you can go to that, and there is an information booklet that you'll find on that website that will answer a whole bunch of questions as well. And of course, if there are any questions that may come up after this session is finished, we'll open this up to questions and answers in a minute. But if any questions pop up, you can email me. So if you send it to engbridge@camosun.ca, that will go to our admin office, and either it will get answered directly there or get forwarded to me, depending on the nature of the question. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we'll open it up for questions.